a man over there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community with great advice. I know who I should go see. So around town radio show is where I go for the latest band info. So around town radio show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the program today. It is a nooner here on a Wednesday, and we call it Wednesday with the Band. And I think maybe just popping into the screen here, we're trying to catch up with our friends from That Arena Rock Show today for a quick interview here as they move into a big weekend of live music. Let me see if I can bring Nikki Starr into the studio. Nikki, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I can hear you and everything. How about that?
Perfect. Yeah,
You still in the ride?
Yeah. So, well, I'm back to where we met up at. So last night we went to Cleveland, Ohio, to see Wasp. My buddy, you probably remember him, Sebastian.
What's up?
Yeah, he bought me a meet and greet pass with Blackie Lawless. So
Oh, cool.
we rode up there and spent the night, and yeah, just got back to like where we met up, so I could hop on here. So yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me. It's been so long. I was looking back through my stuff on you guys.
Yeah.
I did a review of a show you did in 2019. That's been
I still owe you a
while,
lot of
man.
money for that. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, it was a review about a show you did at JD Legends. I caught you playing there back in the infancy of your career, and you guys did some things for me that were wonderful. You played some guitar at a 80s hair band trivia night. And those kind of things. We've had a long history, and what I got to say is congratulations, because you guys have done so well. You are rocking it out there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's crazy to watch it grow from, this little idea into the very successful business that it's become. So it's I feel very blessed to be able to be a part of it.
Well, you may remember, but back when we first talked, back in the 80s, way back when, I was in a lip sync Kiss band at Americana Amusement Park.
That's right.
And I've always had an affinity for that era of music and what you do. You guys not only put on a tribute to Arena Rock, but it is a production. It's a show. Yeah. It's a theatrical show. And you have refined it over the years. So let's go back in time just for a minute, back to that first set, you guys tried to put together and decide what songs to play, and we'll take it up through now. But Nikki, you're kind of the brainchild behind some of this, and I know the set lists and so on. Is it preference for what you like, or is it what you think is going to be the biggest appeal to the audience?
Biggest appeal to the audience. Like I'm not putting on a show for myself. You know what I mean? I'm putting on a show for the general public that's going to come see us. So I always try to keep in mind, like, while I'd love to play some obscure 80s Kiss song, most people aren't going to know that one. They're going to know Rock and Roll All Night, or you know what I mean? So and the whole idea behind the set list of this band has always been like stadium anthems. You know what I mean? Like if you're at the football game, you're going to hear Welcome to the Jungle and you're Thunderstruck and Kickstart My Heart and stuff like that. So all those songs that kind of get you pumped up, Of course, we've added some different things in as well, but it's kind of like, we'll throw in like recently we've been doing like Stairway to Heaven, Rock You Like a Hurricane, just songs on that thing. We don't really go too obscure unless it's just kind of like one time we did for Halloween, we did like Dream Warriors, but that was just kind of a one-off kind of a show. Most of the time we're playing the big anthem-y radio hits, just because it appeals to the most people, because not everyone there is a huge Kiss fan or a huge AC/DC fan, but they know a song of them, but they know a song from pretty much all those bands from that genre or that time frame.
Well, And Nikki, there's a lot of people out there that are shooting things at tribute bands right now. There's every time you turn around, you throw a stone and hit a tribute band.
Oh yeah,
But I keep telling people that is not what you are. You're a tribute to that era of music. But you guys, each one of you in your own right, put on a theatrical show on that stage, and each person has a part in this, right down to the ladies who come out, to the guillotine, to everything else you guys have, and the rat look and those kind of things. Who's the mindset around these props? And you got to have a production team that's massive, man, to make this happen.
Yeah, we really so we have a guy that travels with us. His name's Leon. He does like a lot of our videos, but he's also the guy that kind of helps make sure like those parts of the show roll, like the guillotine comes out. He's actually the executioner when that happens. Yeah, and
He's wearing
the
a lot of
ladies.
masks.
Yeah. The ladies, they do a lot of the the Wayne's World, the Beavis and Butthead. They roll out this new gimmick we have with it's like a box and a TNT plunger. So you push it down, and then our guitar player comes out as Angus. Yeah, I mean, I always have tried to like put. Me and Tristan kind of always would come up with like ideas that are like our favorite parts of shows that we've seen or been to. So like our favorite parts of an AC/DC show or an Alice Cooper show. And like, let's just throw all that into one show and just make it one big party for 2 hours. And yeah, that's what we do. We keep coming up with crazy ideas, and we're like, hey, how hard would it be to get a guillotine built, So we figure that out. And yeah, it's we've now got a box truck because all of our stuff won't fit in just a trailer, so.
Well, I catch some old school video stuff out of that too, from the 80s MTV videos, and that you pick some parts out of those videos that you play here, the straight jacket, that kind of thing that goes on. But it also takes timing. And I want, people don't realize, and everybody's they're always down on some of these tribute bands about that, because they come out and it's just a rehearsed set that they do. But the timing part of it, to have all these moving parts come together, that's another monumental task that you guys have to rehearse and make sure that somebody hits their mark when that song's going to hit. Like I said, the guitar player's ready to come out when you hit the TNT thing and all that.
Yeah.
So how often do you practice? Because you've had some lineup changes too, so that's got to be tough to bring new people into the fold.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge to get new people into the fold, but so our whole show runs off of a click track, and we have our video, and we have our light show, and all that's like time coded to it. The only backing tracks that we use are keyboards. And those are also, time coded in there or whatever. So that's kind of set. And it's just, we've got to make sure that we're following along to it. So yeah, there was initially, with some of the lineup changes, we have to do a few rehearsals, get everyone kind of, used to it. And then basically we don't rehearse at all. We just play, we're pretty much playing out every weekend. So, if you didn't get it the last show, you probably got it the next one, and then you just keep getting better. Like with the new people, they finally catch on, and it all works out.
Is it fun to watch somebody new come into the band and evolve?
It is.
From that scared first show type thing.
I love that. Yes, I love to watch somebody be like nervous for the first couple shows, and then the next one they just become their own their own thing. And we have this new guitar player, he's 19 years old, and I was like, man, can you learn all these songs in a week? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, well, we're about to find out if this guy can do it. And he pulled it off, and he was good the first one, but now it's just like he's just perfected these solos, and he's a hell of an entertainer on stage, which is hard to you really can't teach the the entertainer part of it. Like most people come in and they can play the parts, but to teach someone how to be an entertainer takes a lot of time. But he's just picked it up, and I love watching someone grow like that. It's really cool,
Well, and you are a great entertainer as well, Nikki. I mean, your mannerisms on stage, the way you look out at the crowd and get the crowd involved, and throwing the horns up and all that stuff, trying to get the crowd motivated. That you were that from day one, and I that was the one thing I noticed about the band. You and Tristan both. Tristan was always a great performer,
Hmm.
and is to this day just incredible on the stage. But that's work, man. That's work along
Yeah.
with the timing, along with all this. And do you pick the set list, or does everyone throw that together to decide who's going to do what and what part?
Um, so I mean, a little bit of both. Like I would say that I'm kind of like I kind of like put it in where it's gonna go. Like when we were picking like recently of songs to do, like Tristan really wanted to do Stairway to Heaven. And I think I kind of threw it out there of like the Final Countdown, and that was another one that like the rest of the guys were like, yeah, we should definitely do that. If it was me, I might not have picked those two songs to put in the show. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily my favorite songs, but I know that they're big songs, and that it meant something to the other guys in the band to do them. So, and I think after playing them, I'm like, oh yeah, I love these songs now. But I typically put the order in, and then I'll check with Tristan to make sure like the costume changes are gonna work. And as long as the costume changes are gonna work, that's usually how it lays. But if he's like, oh man, I don't have enough time to change here, then we have to figure something else out, or move where that song goes.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
you've gone from playing very small venues, or I think the first show you did I saw was probably the first one you did on a bigger stage was like at JD Legends, and you
Yeah.
might have had a couple hundred people there that night to kick off your tour and career.
Yeah.
Now, what's the biggest venue you've played crowd wise? Because I'm seeing pictures of you guys with massive crowds.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy. Uh, Sold ticket wise, I would say the Phrase that's sold out this year at 4,500 tickets, and then the year before I think it was at 4,000. So, um, sold tickets, that's the biggest one. Biggest crowd. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've done that was just like a big crowd, maybe like a free show event or something like a summer concert series. But the Phrase might be the biggest one.
That was a hell of a show too. I was at
Oh
that
yeah.
one that you sold
Did
out.
you
It
just
was
come to the
just
most recent?
amazing. Yes, yes.
Oh, cool.
What an amazing show you guys did, and
Thank you. Yeah.
that's a cool stage to play on because you're on the stage where some really big hitters have played over the years,
Yeah.
and the audience is always so into what you're doing. And do you think that's because that era of music just rings true in a lot of people's hearts? I mean, I it does in mine. I anytime I hear that music, I'm happy. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that music is just like good time, feel good, happy music, and that translates to any age. You know what I mean? I've met so many cool younger kids that come out to these shows. Last week we had a guitar player. So fast forward to like March of this year, we played in Iowa, or rewind, I should say. We played to Iowa. We played in Iowa. This kid, I seen this girl hold up a phone that said, "My brother can play guitar. Can he come up on stage?" And usually I'm like, "No, we don't do that." But I was like, you know what? Let's give this kid a shot. So we pulled him up. I was like, "Do you know the solo for Rock and Roll All Night?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know it." I was like, "All right, here you go." And he just like killed it, right? And a few months go by. He started his own band. He's 15 years old. Started his own band. Put this whole group together. And then when we came back, he was like, "Hey, is there any chance we could open for you?" I was like, "Absolutely." So I got a hold of the venue and I said, "Is it cool if these kids open?" And they did. And so they just killed it. So it's really cool to see younger people into this. And I think it really has a lot to do with maybe like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And then also, I just think that that's what their parents might have been. That's how I was raised. My dad, loved all this music, and because of that, he would take me to go see these bands and listen to them in the car and stuff like that. And that's why I just love this music. But I think that's why a lot of kids are into it. It's just happy, fun music, and I don't think rock music is necessarily that right now. Like the current rock music that's getting released. I mean, there's a few bands that are coming out like that, like Dirty Honey and stuff like that. But um, it just doesn't have that fun, forget about life feel to it. Maybe lyrics are a little more serious now, which is cool. That's a cool thing. But I think that's why the '80s might have been a special time. It's just fun.
Yeah, and I think all those people that want to get up and play guitar now, we can owe that to the Foo Fighters and Kiss guy that made that viral video. They got
Yeah,
up there and
yeah.
played it. They're all like, "I can do that," you know. So
Yeah.
that's fun though, and they went on to have a band. That's really cool. That's a
How
cool
cool,
story
right?
because and you know, I've seen some young guys playing recently that are just slaying the old music. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
that song was born 30 years before you, you know, and
Yeah.
they're killing it. And the one band doing Zeppelin and stuff so well, and I'm like, you know, maybe it's a Greta Van Fleet thing. They're picking up
Maybe,
on
yeah.
that, but it's cool to see everybody going back in time and liking this music. And Nikki, what would you classify that arena rock show as? I mean, so many people call it a tribute band, but
Yeah.
what if somebody asked you, said, hey, you know, if they were new and never seen you, what would you describe your band as?
Yeah, we've kind of actually changed our marketing a little bit as a celebration of 70s and 80s rock instead of a tribute, because we're really not a tribute band. We really just celebrate that whole era and the whole vibe of a 70s or 80s rock concert. It's really a feeling that I think that we sell. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the crowd, um, that's what we're selling, is that feeling of taking you back in time to just a high energy 80s rock fun, um, you know, gimmicky fun concert. When we do costume changes, we aren't trying to make you think that we're Angus Young or Steven Tyler or whatever. We're just throwing a nod to it. And we're so it's and that's what's also kind of unique about us is we're just ourselves, maybe an amplified version, 80s rocked dressed version. You know what I mean? But yeah, we just really are. That's what's kind of unique about us is most people have to, if you're in a Kiss tribute, you have to be Paul or Gene or Ace or Peter. We're just us, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. It's kind of freeing to be able to entertain or whatever, like in the way that you want, and not have to be like, well, I got to be Paul Stanley right now, or I got to be Gene Simmons. Like it's kind of cool to just be, free with it.
Righto. And that kind of segues me into my next thing I wanted to talk about with you. When I first met you guys, you had a fan base of people even then, back when you were playing the smaller venues and trying to get this thing momentum going. And one thing I admired is you did a fan experience at the show I worked with you, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was like 25 of your best fans, so to speak, who got an intimate little sound check moment and meet and greet with you guys. And
Oh yeah.
it wasn't your artist grab and grin, smile for a picture, now get out of here. You guys
Yeah.
took time and really got to know these people and talk to them. And they became super fans because they went on
Yeah.
the mission. They were your street team, man. They were out there pushing you every day and saying, this
Yeah.
band, you got to see this band, you got to do that, and sharing your socials and all that stuff. That was genius, by the way. Because so many people forget about the people who are paying tickets to come see you. They don't take the time. And like you said, you guys are you. You're just you guys. So at the end of the show, I see you out there shaking hands with everybody and hugging people out of the audience and all that.
Yeah.
That is the genius of that arena rock show. And I think that's why you're still on a roll here like you are.
Yeah.
Is it tough to keep up with that? Is there a lot of interaction that goes on prior to and after the show now still? It's bigger crowd.
Yeah, after every show, we usually go over and hang out by the merch booth and, try to say hi to people, because it means some people, they just want to, come see the show and leave, and that's cool. But some people, it means something to them to get a picture or get an autograph. And, I'm happy to do that. I mean, that's easy. Actually, that's my favorite part of being in this band, is being able to meet so many people. Like, I know people in Key West that I'm now friends with, and I know people in Colorado that I'm now friends with. And it's like, if I wasn't doing this, I would probably just be sitting on my couch every Friday, Saturday, watching Stranger Things reruns or something. You know what I mean? So, it's just really cool that, what we do for some reason touches other people and inspires them. Like the kid that is playing guitar. There's another girl that we brought up on stage, and she played with us, and now she just recently played with Bret Michaels. So it's just
Wow.
really cool to watch be able to be in that, that role, I guess, that um, allows to inspire other people, or meeting them means something to them. Or now, like I said, I've got friends in Pennsylvania that, when we go there, she makes us cookies and brings us gifts for our, my wife and I's anniversary. It's just like, so it's amazing.
Yeah, and that I think that's got to be very rewarding for you guys,
It
is
is.
to
It's the
have it.
best
And
part of it.
you've got some lifelong friends here. I mean, people that will be your friends for life, and were there from the start with you when you were just a bunch of young guys saying we're going to make this happen. And
Yeah.
that's a cool moment too. And I want to say hi to a couple people that are checking in. Rob, thank you for that comment. He says,
Yeah. Rob,
that
yeah.
Arena Ruck Show Army, and Tina Reed Ramsey from O'Connor's Irish Pub in Springfield. You need to see these guys. You do.
Yeah.
David Linda, if you know David from Last Call, and he's in the house. Nikki Forte is with us. Hi, Nikki.
Oh, yes.
And gosh, Dave, thank you for that comment. And Ray said the 80s were the greatest. I agree, Dave, 100%. And let's see what Bob's got to say. Sounds like fans got a great experience versus the cattle shoot meet and greets. Yeah. Yeah, I've worked many of those shows where I was the backstage guy running people through, and there are some artists who take that as fun, and some artists that take it as, man, that I just don't want to deal with that, the meet and greets.
Yeah.
But they do it because they know they have to, and
Yeah. Well,
the
yeah, I guess
VIP experience.
Yeah, for a lot of bands, like those meet and greet things have become a big way for them to make extra income, because music doesn't really sell, and so that's why ticket prices and meet and greet options have become a thing. Have gotten more expensive or whatever. We haven't really been doing like the paid meet and greet thing recently, but after every show we'll go back and say hi to everyone at the end of the night, because like I said, that's just my favorite part of being a part of this.
Yeah, it's got to be real rewarding after you've played a show to see all those adoring people out there who love what you do. And you kicked it off with Kickstart My Heart, the first show I ever saw. Is that still your opener?
Yeah, it still is.
It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's not a better opening song from that genre, in my opinion, for the kind of concert that we do. It's just so high energy, and it just sets the show off right. We've opened with one other song one time, and it was I think it was "Running with the Devil," but it was because that was the week that Eddie Van Halen died. But it just started the show in such a weird way, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just a fun song, and there's just no reason to change it, in my opinion.
No, and Kickstart My Heart, I mean, it fires the audience up like right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It gets them to a fever pitch in song number one, and they don't lose that at all throughout the night, I think.
Yeah.
So Tristan, let's talk about Tristan, because he's not here today with us, but I love Tristan, T-Bone as he's known. And he's one of those guys that I first heard singing karaoke somewhere, and I was wowed by him.
Me too.
And he does some incredible stunts now on the stage. That jump, that Van Halen jump, he's mastered. I mean, he's really
yes. Now he's jumping over our guitar player's head and stuff. And there's a couple shows where he's like climbing on stuff and hanging upside down. I'm like, dude, you are a maniac.
Yeah, the first time I saw him do that jump, I was like, oh, don't hurt yourself. It was a little awkward looking. And then by now he's doing it like he's been doing it 100 years. He's
dude, it's so crazy. This is the first band he's ever been in. Before this, he was singing like karaoke and stuff. And he has just become, in my opinion, the ultimate front man. And the guy can damn near sing anything, and he's just the most, the greatest guy to work with. You know what I mean? A lot of people, the stereotypical thing is like singers are hard to deal with, or they don't help load in, or, you know what I mean? And he's not that at all. He's just a great dude. And that's what I love most about him, but he's also just a hell of a performer and a great singer too.
He's a big part of your brand. I mean, he is.
Oh, huge part. Yeah.
And his little shtick working the crowd and the talking to people before the show, and some of the videos you guys do have been hilarious. Some of the stuff that you put on there, especially like the backstage moments of Tars and all that stuff. Those were fun to watch.
Oh
And Tristan, he's a talented dude. He's a comedian. He's a showman and a singer to boot. You know,
it's so funny because he's a very quiet, chill person, but then he puts on his gimmick, you know, his outfit, and it's like a whole different person. You know, he starts like talking in a British accent, and you know, he's it's so funny to watch that transformation sometimes.
So you're playing this weekend. You've got a date in Cleveland, right? And then one in Cincinnati.
Columbus on Friday and Cincinnati on Saturday. Yeah. Yep.
Columbus Friday, Cincinnati, Bogarts on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Where you at in Columbus? You at the
King of Clubs.
King of Clubs. Okay.
Yep.
And how about all this road time you're doing? How do you stay sane riding around so much and going to all these different places? That's what I want.
It's a lot. It is a lot. You know, I personally enjoy traveling. Maybe not driving, you know, 8 hours in a van to Iowa, but you know, and getting no sleep. But you know, it is what it is. It comes with it. You know, we're going to be doing a lot more traveling next year. We hooked up with Arm Entertainment. They do like Warrant and Bullet Boys and Dokken and Lita Ford, stuff like that. And they've been getting us a bunch of shows. Like we just got an offer in New Mexico, Wyoming. So it's, we're going to get to go to a lot of places we haven't ever been to before. And, you know, we've always said we will go anywhere as long as it makes sense. And so, yeah, it's just cool. Like I said, traveling wise, I enjoy it. I actually have a good time with it. I wish maybe sometimes I got better sleep, but you know, I can sleep during the week, you know. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
And you're doing other things too right now, right? I mean, didn't you recently get into a screen printing business or something?
Yeah. So last year, my father-in-law and I bought a screen printing press, and so we kind of took over the last year to kind of master that with on, you know, That Arena Rock Show shirts. So we started screen printing our own shirts, and
Old
then
school,
now,
baby.
yeah, I love that, by the way. Yeah. So we started doing ours, and then now we've gotten to a point where I think we're good enough to start doing other people's. So actually, I'm wearing one right now. It's the Ultimate Doors. They're like a Doors tribute, and
Nice.
so I've it's been cool to learn that whole craft, because man, screen printing is a way more tedious thing than I ever thought it was going to be. I thought it would be pretty simple, but every bit of it is a process and a learning curve. And but I've really enjoyed learning it, and it's a pretty cool, you know, another way to make money. So, you know,
well,
it's cool.
and you know, they said being in a celebration of the 80s and 70s band would be easy too, right?
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's
go play, man.
Easy.
Just get up there and play. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Until something doesn't work or this breaks or whatever. And you break a guitar every night on stage, don't you? Do you put that thing back together each week? Or
so it's held by Gorilla Glue. Yeah. So every week I've got about 10 that I rotate out. And actually, my father-in-law, he's the one that does it. I'll take them back to him, and he just gets them all glued up. And then when I go back over there, I pick them up and use them for the next weekend or whatever. And but yeah, that's the little prop. A lot of people. There was one scary incident when I did it at the Phrase. It actually flew the wrong direction and went and hit the camera guy's camera. So there's a video of it. It's on our promo video. If you see it, that's real. But I'm so glad that it hit him and his camera and nothing went wrong, because my mom and dad were the ones standing right behind him. So they would have got hit with it if his camera wouldn't have taken the shot. So,
well, at least they probably wouldn't have sued you, so you'd be all right.
Yeah, and thank God he didn't.
And the cameraman didn't, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how people can find you if they don't know you. Find you on social media, and a lot of people are going to be watching after we're live, guys. If you have a question, I know Nicky will probably share it on his page. I'll have it on mine. We'll try to answer them for you in the comments. But talk about your socials for just a minute. How people can find Tars or That Arena Rock Show.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's just at That Arena Rock Show, or / That Arena Rock Show. We're on TikTok. I believe that's at That Arena Rock Show. We're on YouTube. Same thing, at That Arena Rock Show. The only thing that's not that handle is Twitter, but we never use it. So, or X, or whatever it's called now.
Me neither.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
never used it. So, but yeah, you can find us there. And then we're also online at thatarenarockshow.com. So,
All right,
yeah,
perfect. I
we're all
got
over there.
that Facebook and thatarenarockshow.com up in the screen here for you guys if you want to go follow that. And you can find them on all the other socials if you want. Give them a like, give them a follow, and find out. Do you know how many followers you have now on Facebook alone? Because that's sure grown.
Yeah, I think it's over. It's like 52,000, something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
those
crazy.
are all
It's
organic followers too. That's
I remember when it was like
people.
200. So
And we
yeah,
were
it's
excited
all
about
organic.
that.
Every bit of that's organic. We've never paid for like any likes or anything like that. I just don't see a point in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that I mean, we run ads, and that's, I think, how we draw in a lot of people. But yeah, it's crazy to watch this thing grow into what it's become.
I've always said that guy in Bangladesh that you bought the like from is never going to come to your show. You know,
That's right.
He's just not going to make that happen.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, what else you have to share besides you got 2 shows this weekend? Anything? Oh, I lost your feed. Nikki, you still there? Hello. I think Nikki may have had a battery issue there. He just went bye-bye.
Sorry.
He's
I
back.
think my phone just rang.
Oh, okay.
What was your
Anything
question?
else you have to share with everybody before we go today? I really appreciate the dialogue. We could talk all day about music and all that.
Oh, for sure. No, just for those that have come to see us, thank you for the support, and thank you for the support. You kind of championed us when we were nobodies, and I appreciate you writing that awesome review about us, and and continuing to support us, and it's just a huge blessing, and to be able to do what we get to do, and thank you for, like I said, for your support, and everyone that's watching and that comes to see us. It's a cool way to make a living, and I owe it all to all these people.
Well, it is cool. And one thing I can say is, guys, if you're watching, don't confuse That Arena Rock Show with your average tribute band, because they're far from it. It's an experience you'll never forget if you go watch this group. It's just that good and that much fun. And so if you ask yourself that age-old 80s question, what do you want to do with your life? You want to get out and see That Arena Rock Show, people.
There you go.
The most important thing. And, see them at a venue near you. They're going to be at Bogart's this weekend. So if you're in the Cincinnati area, go down there and see them. Check them out. That's a great little intimate place to see you guys play. So
yeah. This is it's the first place we played too. So yeah.
Awesome.
So it's always got a special place in our hearts. So
well, Nikki Starr, thank you so much for being here. Sebastian over there in the corner, thank you for being here. He's over there, but he's being awfully quiet today. It's not like him.
He hopped out of the car for something, so I don't know if he wanted to do something, but
and tell T-Bone and the rest of the boys I said hey, and thank you for joining us today on Wednesday with the band, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right,
good
folks,
talking to you.
Good talking to you, Nikki. We'll be back tomorrow live at 5 with Who's Playing Out, the best musicians and venues in the tri-state, and who's playing for the week. So check that one out, heading into the Thanksgiving week and the biggest night in the bar business pretty much before Thanksgiving. So join us for that list on Thursday. We'll see you next time right here at All Around Town Radio. Hang in there with me for a second, Nikki.
Okay.
Thank you, Kara. That's a nice thing to say about him.
Working for the weekend, and I want to see a show. I flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities that they may represent.